There are three key points to participles that we want to draw our attention to. The first one is that verbs from all four classes, whether they're be verbs, linking verbs, intransitive, or transitive verbs, can all function as participles. Let me show you what I mean. Like a be verb. My brother, being his usual obnoxious self, annoyed me. So there's the being as my participle. A linking verb. Her lunch, smelling awful, cleared the room. Well, smelling in this case is a linking verb because it's linking to the adjective awful. Intransitive verbs don't have direct objects. I can hear you singing in the shower. You're not singing what, you're just singing where? In the shower. Transitive verbs have direct objects. I saw you buying toilet paper at Costco. Well, buying is the participle, and toilet paper is the direct object for that participle. The second key point I want you to note is that any noun can be modified with a participle. It can be the subject, the direct object, indirect objects, objects of prepositions, predicate nominatives, and even objective complements, like a pattern 10. The participle modifies the noun like an adjective, but it's not working like the main verb, and that's really important. Let's focus on that a little bit further. So if I said Mr. Marsh is drinking more coffee during the day while in quarantine, well, the thing is, now you're going to see these INGs, and you're thinking, wait a minute, is that ING a participle? Well, it could be. It could also be a gerund. It could also just be a verb. So think about it this way. Is drinking is actually the main verb. Any ING with a to be verb is the main verb, is drinking. So Mr. Marsh's drinking is just simply the main verb. So if I changed the sentence and said, Mr. Marsh, living in quarantine, is drinking more coffee during the day. Well, is drinking is still the main verb, but living in quarantine is now my participle. It doesn't have an to be verb with that ing, and it's actually working as an adjective describing Mr. Marsh. The third key point we want to note is that the noun that the participle modifies is its subject. This is a little different from other verbals that we studied. Remember, the gerund had to have its own subject, otherwise it had to agree with the subject of the sentence. Or an infinitive had to have its own subject, otherwise it had to agree with the rest of the sentence. The participle is a little different. If I said, I saw you buying toilet paper at Costco, well, buying toilet paper at Costco actually goes with the noun that's right in front of it, which is you. You is actually the subject of that participle buying. Even though the subject of the sentence is I, the subject of the participle is the word you. It only dangles if the noun is actually missing. And if the noun's missing, then we might come across what we call a dangling participle, which we'll get to. We're just not there yet. For now, let's diagram a few of these bad boys just to make sure we understand exactly what's going on with the participle and how it's functioning in the sentence. So let's focus on correct ones before we actually take a look at incorrect ones.